guys, it's Cece, and today is a very special day. Today is Wednesday, and it is the last Wednesday of November, which means that tomorrow is a very special day as well. But today is, of course, special because today is Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday was, of course, created by Lainey at Ginger Reads Lainey, and I will leave a link to her channel as well as the group down below so you can go and check them out. But, of course, this week is the week of Thanksgiving. It's such a good holiday, and even though I am in England on Thanksgiving, where they don't celebrate Thanksgiving, we're having a Thanksgiving anyway. So tomorrow we're all going to pile into my program director's flat, and we're all going to have a delicious Thanksgiving dinner together, and it's going to be great. Even though we're all going to be really stressed about our final projects. But that's okay. That's okay. But because tomorrow is Thanksgiving, that means today I'm going to talk about my top 5 books that I am thankful for. This is a really interesting topic. I think it's a really great topic for the season, and I didn't originally think I was going to be able to come up with some good books for this, but as soon as I started writing down books that have affected me in my life, or books that I'm just thankful for in general, I had like a whole list that I had to narrow it down on. So this ended up being a really fun list to make. I will say that there are actually 6. There are 6 books that I'm thankful for, and you know what? It's the Thanksgiving season. Just give me your forgiveness for giving 6 books on today instead of 5. And then we'll be good. So, alright, let's get started on my top 6 books that I am most thankful for. Coming in at number 6. For number 6, I want to mention a book that I also recently mentioned in my Doctor Who Companions tag when I was talking about books that started me reading, and the book or series that I am really thankful for is the Nancy Drew series by Carolyn Keene. I am so thankful for this book because not only did it get me started on loving mysteries and it got me started on wanting to write, but it was also a thing that me and my grandmother did together, and whenever I was over at her house, she would read out loud to me from the Nancy Drew books, and that is how I read most of the Nancy Drew books that I've read, and I've read a lot. These books just fostered a connection with my grandmother that still lasts today, and we still give books back and forth to one another, and we still really love sharing how much we both love to read, so I definitely have to give a shout out to Nancy Drew. Coming in at number 5. For number 5, I want to talk about another series that was really important to me as a kid, because I feel like I don't talk about this, and it's completely unfair for numerous reasons, but the series that I am super thankful for is the Little House on the Prairie series by Laura Ingalls Wilder. I feel like I've mentioned a lot of times that I read Nancy Drew with my grandmother, and while I love that, and that's super important to me, I feel like I sometimes fail to mention the fact that when I was younger, my mother read everything to me, and she is the one who got me started in my love of reading. We read the Chronicles of Narnia together, we read Peter Pan and A Wrinkle in Time, we read The Secret Garden and The Lost Prince, and we read Little Britches and Out of the Dust and so many more, and Little House on the Prairie was just the series that we read together that means so much to me and will always have a special place in my heart. Whenever I think of this series, I think of reading it with my mom, and I think of crying with my mom, and it's just really special to me, and I'm really thankful for this series and for being able to read it with my mom. Coming in at number 4. So another one of the books that I am most thankful for is, of course, The Giver by Lois Lowry. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I love this book. You know that this is often a book that I list as my favorite book. I know that that changes for all of us, and it changes for me too, but I most commonly reference The Giver. I'm thankful for this book because I always get something new out of it when I read it. I read it like 20 times. I read it constantly. I always find something new to love, and the other reason that I really love it is that I love to be able to pass it on. Because it's such a quick book, but I think is such a dramatic subject, I love to be able to give it to people and be like, you'll be able to read this in like 3 days, and have them come back and say, wow, this really affected me, and I really love being able to share my favorite book with people, and it's just, I love this book. I'm so glad that I read it. Love it. Coming in at number 3. So this one might be a little weird to people, because I don't talk about this book super often, and I don't know if it's a book that a lot of people would consider putting on their books they're thankful for, but they should, because I think it affected all of us a lot when we were younger. But this book that I am super thankful for is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer, or the whole Twilight saga. And while Twilight and I did go through a rough patch later on into high school. When I was in junior high, it was very, very important to me, and it also was how I made my friends when I moved to a new school in 8th grade. I didn't know anyone. I was incredibly shy and withdrawn, and most of the time I would like to keep a book in my backpack and I just read that instead of talking to people, to be honest with you. But in 8th grade is when I met my friends that I had throughout high school, and it was pretty much through Twilight. We connected through Twilight. We went to the midnight premieres together. Later on, they defended Twilight while I complained about it, which was completely unfair of me, but I'm just so grateful to Twilight for being able to give me that connection with my friends and be able to help me in terms of finding new people to really be friends with and to love throughout high school, because we were close for years and years afterwards. So I'm just so thankful for this book. I'm planning on rereading it next year because it's been too long and I've got to read Life and Death, so I have to give it to Twilight. Coming in at number 2. For number 2, I'm going to talk about another one of my favorite books, and that is Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine. Yes, of course, I had to get a retelling on here. So one of the reasons that Ella Enchanted is on this list is because I'm so thankful for this book, as it began my love of retellings, which, again, if you've watched my channel for a while, I'm sure you know that I love. I did a recommendations video for retellings, and Ella Enchanted was on that list, obviously, because it's my favorite. But beyond fostering a love for this subgenre, which I do love, I also love this book because it was one of the books that was really integral to me as a little girl in learning that fairy tales didn't always have to be about a girl wanting a man. And that's, of course, a lot more relevant now. I mean, fairy tales are changing a lot and there are a lot more retellings, but this was my first experience of that. And of course, Ella did still love a man, but this book was about Ella saving herself. And that was really, really important to me. This was one of the first just like super well-written female characters that I got to experience, and it's always stayed with me. And whenever I think of well-written female characters, I always go back to Ella because this was just a really influential experience to me in a book. And finally, coming in at number 1. This should come as no surprise. In fact, I think this will be on many people's lists for books they are most thankful for, but hey, gotta throw it out there anyway. The books that I am most thankful for are, of course, the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. It has been the most influential series on me as I have grown up. It has always stayed with me. I've reread it 6 or 7 times. I don't remember how many it's been now. And it's so important to me. It is another one of the series that I read with my mom, although this time she did not read them out loud to me. We had one set of the books, and we each had to read the entire series in a month. But we didn't have individual copies, we had to read the same copies in a month. And that is one of my favorite memories of that July, the year that Deathly Hallows came out, which is actually when I read the series. I read it when the final book came out, and both of us sneaking back and forth in the middle of the night to steal one another's copies of Harry Potter. I love that memory. I retell it all the time, and Harry Potter has only continued to influence me since. I just did my last reread over the summer, and while I was rereading, I took this huge notebook full of notes and questions and things that made me think, and it's such an important series. It has affected me forever. It is a reason I often cite the fact that I do have a Harry Potter tattoo, which may not have been an excellent reason for some of my family members, but was an excellent reason for me, and actually my mom agreed with that. She's the one who encouraged me to get the tattoo. So it's a connection between me and my mom. It is how I got super involved with the book world. It is something that I think that we will all always hold dear to our hearts. I feel like I'm writing a love letter to Harry Potter, and that's okay with me, because that's really how I feel about this series. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to get my hands on the illustrated edition of Sorcerer's Stone so that I can start enjoying it all over again and experience it in a totally new way. I'm so excited about that. Well, there you go. Those are the books that I am most thankful for. In the comments below, please let me know, first of all, what book are you most thankful for, and second of all, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, because I know a lot of you don't. So if you celebrate Thanksgiving, let me know what is your favorite Thanksgiving-y food to eat. me personally, I gotta love those sweet potatoes. So good. So let me know those down in the comments below, and of course, thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!